It's live.
Wait. No.
Yeah. I think we can just start, right?
Hello, everyone. I think ClipCon can share the views on the role that cybersecurity plays in AI. Let's now look at the Web3 security. It's my honor to introduce our next speaker, Yuang Soni, is a focused individual who is highly passionate about Web3 security. He is currently a developer advocate at Zinc. Today, he will share the insight on Web3 security, a subject that is of paramount importance in our ever-connected world.
Sure.
Happy to have you, Yuang, with us.
Thank you. I'm happy as well. Very excited to join you guys back again. So yeah, I think I can just start, right?
Yes, yes, Yuang, you can start.
Okay. So let me just share my screen.
Sure.
I hope my screen is visible now.
Uh,
Is it
yes,
okay?
it's loading. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. That's amazing. Okay, that's great. So thank you everyone for joining in. My name is Yomank. So let's continue. So today we are gonna talk about Web3 security. Basically, we're gonna talk about Web3. We're gonna see like what is actually different in this kind of tech stack here. Now, what exactly is Web3? We'll get a kind of a introduction to what blockchain is, what are Web3 applications, or what are actually called as D applications, right? And we're going to talk about smart contracts, and also we're going to focus on smart contract auditing platforms. So there are multiple platforms which are there available in the market uh, to audit smart contract and basically do some kind of Web3 security stuff there. I'm really pretty excited to do that. So let's see what is there. I'll just kind of introduce myself again. So my name is Yuang Soni. I'm a developer advocate at Zeev. So what I basically do at Zeev is I basically work with developers to get them on board on the platform. I work uh, to basically address them what Web3 is, what exactly blockchain is, how they can do things in there, what are multiple things about Web3 is there. And like I work with companies, I work with startups in like how Zeev can help startups, how they can get benefit out of the platform. I've worked with some kind of deals as well. Let's say, for example, if there is a kind of a partnership, so I do that as well for Zeev. So before that, I was working with Cleap Technologies, as we are here again. So I was working with them as an information security consultant before. Right now, I'm basically a full-time traveler. I love traveling. Almost, I have around. I've taken around 56 flights somewhere. I was just counting this number yesterday. So that's how I came to this number. I've within just this year, I've taken these many flights and have been to around 66 cities so far in this year. Have been talking to a lot of developers lately, have been talking to a lot of startups, have been talking to a lot of businesses. So many things in Web3 now. So yeah, and apart from that, I'm just a full-time learner. I just try to learn whatever I can and as much as I really can, and whatever I can build with technology, build with new kind of technology, what I can build with Web3, what I can build with AI, or what I can build with other stuff. So I just play around with them. uh, yeah, this is a bit about me. Let's discuss what exactly is Web3 first. So let's see this like if within the market. So has been a recent basically study which is being done by Deloitte, that 83% of their uh, company indicates that if they're not working, if they're not actually adopting Web3, if they're not adopting the technology, it's within their platform or within whatever they're doing, so they can actually be on the like back phase, right? Or they can they will not, there are very less chances for them to really grow, right? So CIOs has been basically turned blockchain as the really number one priority. So what really is blockchain, right? There are so many things, like what really is the tech stack. uh, Everyone has been like basically heavily investing in blockchain, heavily investing in the products which are made out of it, heavily investing in the D apps, and actually using those tech stacks, right? So uh, there are multiple kind of chains, there are multiple kind of tech stacks even in blockchain which you can really consist of. So let me just try to explain what really starts, like how we all started with that. So first, what we started with was Web 1, where what we really did was we just started using Wikipedia, we started using internet, we started to learn from internet, we started this technology, and not we started, but we started to use this technology, and for our advantage, for just gaining information out of it, for gaining resources out of it, for gaining data out of it, right? Multiple people were using that. There are companies which are forming on internet, and they're now leading giants, or the tech giants, what they are so called for. Now, the second term which really came was Web 2 in there, or it is also called as social web. So, in this kind of area, or in this kind of era which we really are right now, is basically when we are using, or we are also participating in making or creating web applications, or web to be exact, much more bigger, much more of a bigger entity as well, right? So there are applications like YouTube, there are applications like Instagram, or which is already mentioned there, or just Google, let's say. So there are so many applications which are actually based on web 2, and they are leading the world. We are using them daily, like we cannot even imagine our day without internet, right? We have to use internet at least once. There are applications like Snapchat, there are applications like much more on the social media platform as well. So they really want us to use at least once a day, right? They want there are applications which are there who really want every kind of person to be just available on platform. So search engines like Google, or maybe even YouTube as a search engine, so they want users on the platform. They are actually generating revenue out of that. So we are creating that internet for ourselves, and we are also using that as well for now. What really is the transition there? What really is actually Web 3? So Web 3 is not something which is actually being made by some particular companies, or which is not specifically just tech. It is actually something which is being created by the community. It is something which actually community needs for ourselves. So what really was happening was, we all were using these Facebooks, we all are using these kind of applications like we are doing right now. You guys can see me on YouTube, you guys can we actually are using Google Meet, or maybe Zoom, or some kind of applications at least once a day, or whenever we are working, we are using that almost daily. So what do they have for us is, they have our data, they have so many things for us. Like if I really want to ask maybe Facebook or maybe Google for my data, it's the ton of data right there. So what I'm searching, what I'm doing on the internet, what all reels I'm watching, what all shorts I'm watching, what videos or what type of videos I'm seeing or watching, or what type of content I'm listening to, what kind of podcast is there, right? So there are internet, there are actually so much which is available on internet about us, and with these companies only. So our data was not with us right now in our hands. This is something which is Web3 is trying to change, and this is something which is Web3 is all about, we can say, is making the world or making the internet decentralized. So in a way, what really is that, let's say for an example, if there is a D app called called, let's say, Brave. So if you don't know, so Brave is also a D application, D app, which we say that for dapps. And what Brave is built, Brave is built basically on blockchain. It doesn't feel that way, it doesn't look like that way, but yes, it is built on that. If you use Brave, you will get rewards, right? If you use Brave, you won't get YouTube ads. If you use Brave, you won't get almost any kind of ads. And on using that, you get to use, or you get to have brave reward points, and which is also called as kind of brave tokens or something. And that can be later turned into cash, and that can be later turned into something which you can exchange for, right? That is a utility for that. This is how web3 is built on, basically. So if we see, and basically if we try to emphasize more on Web3. So there are so many things much more about Web3. So decentralized application is what terms people use for that. Decentralized application is actually something which is being available on you, which is which you are using by your own machine, which no one else has your data. So this allows us, or this allows people to basically secure their data. This allows them to basically secure their whole working environments, or their whole machines, or their basically entity on the internet. So what it does is, and how it does is by doing this peer-to-peer connectivity through this technology called as blockchain. And this is actually building the whole environment which is permissionless, stressless, and actually making in millions, right? So there are companies which have actually uh, invested heavily on blockchain. There are so many firms, there are so many venture capitals which are who are actually investing in blockchain. And it's just in India. If we see the number, so it's more than 500 million. I'm sure this number is more than around 1 billion at least. 500 million is just one company which I can just name, right? So there are so many companies in India, out of India, who are being basically the leaders in blockchain right now. Like let's say Polygon is there, so they're making much more than that. But yeah, the investment or the international funds, we can see that it's around 500 million or something. Let's move forward. Let's try to understand what exactly is a blockchain, right? So there are multiple kind of blockchains there which are available on the internet and which are available for you to use. So let's take a blockchain as your notes taking app, right? So I use notes in a different way, and maybe let's say if Rahul wants to use a note, so what he will do is he will add every single thing, every single data, every single image, all of it, whatever he is doing for the application or for the client, he will add everything to that panel, right? If let's say Alia wants to use a note, she will use it the other way. If Nishant wants to use it, she will use it in the other way. If I'll use it, obviously I will use it in another way. So there are multiple kind of blockchains available on the internet, and they have their specific uses, they have their specific requirements, and they have their basically general face, right? So there are multiple kinds. Let's say focus on public. So public blockchain, if we say that Ethereum is a public blockchain which now works on POS, which is proof of stake mechanism. And it is just kind of a consensus mechanism. If you just want to read more about it, you can just Google about consensus mechanism and all, POS, PW. You can just get a more insight about it. So yeah, public blockchain is something which where if you want to view the transaction, if you want to view like what was there in the transaction, what data was there in the transaction, you can actually go on their scan page. Let's say for example, for the transactions for Ethereum, you can just directly go to the Ether scan, and you can actually get the transaction detail, what was there, or what transaction was there, which just happened, and what transaction involves what all data which you just made, right? So all those information is actually available on public. That's how it called as public. And obviously for private, the information will not be available on these kind of panels or these kind of platforms. But yes, you can actually use it in their own private panels if you're using that. So for an example, for a private blockchain, we can say it as a, let's say, Hyperledger Fabric. So Hyperledger Fabric is actually a private blockchain. I just recently met Julian Gordon. So he actually named out Zeef. So actually Zeef is doing quite good and quite well with the Hyperledger Fabric framework as well. So just recently got to meet him in the Bangalore. So yeah, like this is how they are actually focusing on a lot of private blockchain mechanisms. The other blockchains are like, for example, Hyperledger Besu is again another blockchain which are actually working good with. So if Hyperledger Fabric, I'll have to basically certify that. So that will come under consortium blockchain. So consortium is something which involves a lot more access control, which involves a lot more security, and which is actually specifically for banking clients, or maybe for the clients who are dealing with a goods of, or maybe who are dealing with the loads of supply chain, right? So if they have the data which they really want to secure, so those kind of blockchains can use that. Hybrid is obviously something which can be a public and private both mixed. So this is how actually blockchain is classified. So, what kind of applications do we really have if we are in basically working with Web3 applications, right? So, we have, let's say, for example, gaming applications. So, for gaming, we have a market for around 250 somewhere billions. And I'm really sure that whoever is watching this stream, they must have at least tried or at least played the game or the Web3 games at least once, right? CryptoKitties were the one, and there are the applications for metaverse and all, right? So you must have at least played or tried one Web3 game so far. Now they are actually booming. The Web3 industry for the gaming is actually really advanced now. There are applications called finance applications. So I'll just give an example. So we were working with a client called as DCB Bank, okay, and they were using so many things. They were actually what they were doing was, so they had this mechanism where they have to transfer the cash in the ATM, and to transfer those cash in the ATM, they involves multiple parties in there. So the security for those ATM will be the different party. So the security for the cash will be a different party. Taking out the cash from the cash bank is obviously a different party. So to come up and basically secure all those things, secure the cash, the things everywhere, they use this thing called blockchain applications, or called decentralized application, where they can store every single bit of data, and whatever basically phase is there from the cache, from where the cache is moving, they can actually use that. This is how the multiple applications are being made and being utilized on Web3. If I see, so there are applications like DAOs or NFTs. Anyone here who knows about basically NFTs or anything in there? Where is the blockchain? Oh, we have some questions. Okay, so where is the blockchain stored? So blockchain is not exactly stored anywhere, but blockchain have multiple nodes set it up. So let me give you an example. So if you are actually using a blockchain node, so you can use that through a provider called like through an infrastructure provider. Let's say, for example, Zeef, or maybe there are multiple providers as well. So now what exactly is there? Let's say if you have a blockchain node which is running, you will be having multiple nodes, not just one. So those multiple nodes will be consisting of the same data, and they all will be basically following up with the data time to time, right? So let's say I have done a transaction, so that transaction will be stored, and that transaction will be replicated to each and every block at the same time. So that's how they're storing that. And those blocks, those transactions are not something, but they are just modified cloud machines, or the cloud nodes, what we called as EC2 nodes, or maybe if you use Google Cloud or something, some different cloud like Digital Ocean or something, so they can be named as multiple different nodes. But the idea is that they are just the machines who are being used and converted to a certain I'll say configuration, and they are being controlled and centralized command by the blockchain providers. So this is how blockchain are being stored. Can someone with no or little knowledge of blockchain can enter in this field? How is API testing important for blockchain? Yeah, definitely someone can uh, enter in the field, but yeah, they have to actually learn about this thing. They have to learn about Web3 security. They have to learn about what thing is there, how actually blockchain work, how mechanisms work, what is actually consensus mechanism, what is actually let's say um, how actually decentralization works, how these kind of decentralized applications are being made. So they have to know these things first. These are obviously the basics what we are doing in Web2 security as well. We have to know the basics, right? Where the data comes from, where the data goes. We have to learn about peer-to-peer. We have to learn about connectivity and everything. So that's how the similar things we have to learn in this field as well. Yes, definitely they can start with these as well, and they can gradually move onwards, and they can start exploring about how smart contracts are, how they are actually made, why they're actually made, and they can basically do further. I'll explain more in detail just after it. Are testing techniques more same for apps built on different platforms? So yes, it depends actually. So what kind of platform is being made out. So there are multiple kind of platforms. So let's say if you are based on EVM platform, so the applications, or maybe I'll say the test cases can be somewhere similar, but not completely. But if the applications, if the blockchain is something called the Cosmos chain, so yeah, they can be different, because Cosmos is something which you have to code every single bit in there, and every single bit of the application is actually different from the EVM chains. So yeah, there are multiple techniques for multiple blockchain types, but yes, again, if you really want to know about like how the things and how those or how the testing techniques are really, so I'll even explain more in detail. But yes, to just give you an example, so let's say if we have a line of code which is following 1 2 3 4 5 in the command, and there you have to, where we're finding any kind of vulnerability, where we're finding any kind of applications in the code, where we're finding any kind of formalities in the code, we have to basically find it out, that why we are actually where are the actually losses in there. So by losses I mean that where are the vulnerabilities in there. So how you can really do that is, there are already known vulnerabilities, and if you are already finding them, if you are finding a new one, obviously you can do that as well. But for the known ones, there are multiple kind of GitHub repos, there are multiple kind of Kaggle basically sheets which are there, so you can basically find it on there. But yes, again, if you are doing that as well, so you have to learn about like how you're actually doing that, how the testing actually works, how the testing technique is actually different in different kind of chain environments, because all chains are not same. There are multiple kind of chains which have multiple different kind of environments, and they are based on multiple kind of settings, right? So let's say if you're using a banking application, so there the techniques can be different. But if you're using a kind of application which is basically NFT based application or management application, obviously the techniques can be different. Hackers can hack in Web3 application. I think yeah, definitely. Why not? Like hackers can do anything, and we hackers can hack anywhere, right? But yes, it is actually a bit typical for a hacker as well to hack into Web3 applications, because blockchain works on the mechanism called consensus mechanism, and this is something which relies heavily on the network, on the nodes. So the nodes, basically, if you want to hack into a blockchain, so let's say there are 10 nodes on the blockchain, so you have to at least hack those 6 nodes at the same time to hack into a blockchain. Basically, you have to basically hack into more than 51% of the users, or more than 51% of the network you have to hack in there. Then only it is possible to for a hacker as well to hack into that Web3 application. Yeah, that's about the questions. If you have something else, I can answer that as well. Now let's try to understand what exactly is a smart contract. So these all applications are built on the this kind of panel, I'll say, or on this kind of page, I'll say. So what exactly is a smart contract, right? So let's take a smart contract as just an agreement we do as just a basic contract. So let's say I want to buy a house, and I want to buy a house from Rahul. So I will pay Rahul some amount of money, and in return he will give me the custody of the house for on my name, right? This is the same thing which is actually replicated on code, and they are like the smart contract is nothing, just a program which will be executed once both the conditions are met, and that's it, nothing more than that. So whenever I want to buy a house, and whenever I will send money to Rahul, let's say in this condition, when Bob wants to buy a house and he will send money to John, uh, at that same time the deed or the agreement for the house will be set it up on the name of Bob instead of John, because John will be getting the payment. That's it. It is as easy as that. But now again, it involves so many kind of difficulties, right? There are so many kind of errors which are there. There are so many kind of uh, I'll say discrepancies which are there, uh, which can really affect the kind of business, I'll say. So now what really can happen is, let's say instead of Bob's account, or maybe instead of someone. instead of maybe John's account, I have sent the money to someone else's, right? That in that case, the agreement would not happen, right? What happen if instead of my account, instead of Bob's account, the deed or the agreement is being made on someone else's account? This is again the conditions, and these are all the basic conditions which we are actually working with, and we have already worked in Web 2 as well. So all those logical conditions, all those business logic errors are also there in the smart contract. And also this is again the answer for the for Puja. So your hackers can hack into Web3 applications. Yes, they can hack into Web3 applications, definitely, if they have some kind of maybe errors in the code for the smart contracts. So yeah, that's how it is important for us to audit our smart contracts as well. Now I'll just show you one thing which is actually pretty important, which is called as smart contract auditing. So what I will do is I'll just stop sharing my screen. I'll share a different screen. So I have created this account on this application called Solidity Scan. I hope my screen is visible. Okay, perfect. I think it is now. So yeah, so I have just recently made this account on Solidity Scan. So Solidity Scan is something which what they do is they basically take your Solidity code. Solidity is an basically just a language in which you can make smart contracts. Rest is another language in which you can actually make smart contracts, or you can create smart contracts heavily. Now what you really need to do is you just need to go on. There are multiple options like GitHub applications or verified contractors. Like you can actually verify your contract address once their contract is deployed on the blockchain. This is how actually you can also see like your contract is having some kind of doubts or not. But in this case, what I will do is I will just go to the application. I will go to upload, and I have these kind of solidity contracts already available on the panel. So I'll just upload all these contracts. I will open that, and that's about it. I will write a project name, test week. As simple as that, and I will just start scanning. Now, these are my past scans. So now we'll go here. It's as easy and fast as that. So what they have done in the backend, they have optimized the code, they have logically read the code, and what all conditions were found incorrect, they will be just listing out all those. Is it not working? Just a minute. Refreshing it. I think there is some kind of issue with the application here. But yes, basically the idea is that it will list out the details. It will list out what all kind of errors was there. It will list out what all kind of vulnerabilities were there. So yeah, here it is. And yeah, projects. If you have any kind of other questions, please feel free to ask. There are multiple applications as well. So there are more applications if we just Google about like Solidity auditing tools. There are more tools as well, but I personally prefer this tool. Why? Because they will not just go on each line, they will also have their own use cases, their own test cases, which they will basically check for your application or for your salary contract. And once those test cases are done, they will have the best I'll say vulnerabilities so far listed. So this tool has been made by one of our India's elite hackers called Sashank. If I'm not really sure if you will be watching this or not, but yeah, shout out to him. Cyberboy India has his handle, and he's basically the founder of Crate Shields and Solidity Scan as their product. Uh, just go and check it out. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple, decent application. It's been made, and they list out vulnerabilities. So one of the coolest vulnerabilities which I have really found in by using Solidity Scan is access control issues. And access control issues, obviously we all know like how much relatable they are for a hacker and how much relatable obviously they are for a firm like us, for a firm like Cleep, right? So yeah, that's about it. If you have any other kind of questions or anything to ask, please feel free to ask. Any questions is there? I think yeah, and that's about it then. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me.
Thank you, Yuang, to be part of this LibCon conference. And cybersecurity is not only the protecting the data in different, industry and all. It's about how cybersecurity will take a place in the different domains. As in the last session, Kyla was explained about how cybersecurity take a role in the AI, and it was good that you have explained very well about Web3 security. And thank you, people who have asked the question related to blockchain and Web3. And actually, it was my question about the hackers can hack in Web3 applications because I was very curious to know about the answer about it. So thank you so much, Yuang, once again. Thank you for giving a lot of details actually you have explained to us. Thank you, everyone. Bye. See you in
Thank
the
you for
next
having me.
session. Thank you.